The nostalgia, the magic, the memories, the madness, and the state of Walt Disney World lounges.
Ooh, find out more on Theme Park Thursday with Dillos Diz.
Now is the time.
Forever? Tangent. Old.
Halt.
Hashtag always MGM.
You are approaching the unloading area.
Calm down. AK haters.
But what if it could?
Behold the majesty of the Sistine Ceiling.
For the kids.
A salute to all theme parks, but mostly Walt Disney World.
Ha! What a cute ending.
Aloha and
Don't Dillo it.
This is Theme Park Thursday with Dillos Diz. She is Jen.
Hello.
And I am Frank, and we are here. What day is it? It is a Tuesday. Is it we don't know what's going on.
We have this week is who knows? Who knows what's happening?
Super Bowl Sunday has thrown both our lives into a state of panic, just disarray. Disarray is a better word than
Which
panic.
has nothing to do with the Super Bowl.
Nothing to do with the Super Bowl at all. It's just the events of Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, the timing.
The timing has not worked out well. What were your thoughts on the Super Bowl while we're here?
Oh, while we're here, I mean, it was for me two teams that were very whatever, and I felt like the Seahawks had a good chance because I saw a TikTok, which is how I go about my life, about the Pope and the new Pope in relation to when the Seahawks made it to the Super Bowl. But then there had been only one of those where the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, so I knew there was a chance. However, the 11-year-old is a fan of Drake May, so he was kind of hoping for the Patriots while knowing that Seahawks were probably going to win. All that to say, I was asleep pretty quick into the second half, and I think most of us were. Actually, I don't even think anyone made it till the end, so...
Well, next year, it's going to be a very Disney Super Bowl halftime show. So I feel like we're going to have to bring back our Super Bowls of the past, the Matt Harvey song, the video. We might need to do a whole, now in 2027, Disney-themed Super Bowl thing for next season. A 61st Super Bowl. They didn't make a big deal about the 60. It annoyed me. And Mrs. Dillo was like, why? And I was like, she's like, what did you want? I was like, I don't know. They could just say it's the 60th a little more than they have been.
I want pomp and circumstance.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the halftime show, I will say for a podcast that talks a lot about storytelling, I thought there was so much storytelling happening in that halftime show, more so than I've ever seen in a halftime show. And there was just so much going on and so many scenes and so many carry-throughs and like the production of it. Yeah, and a real wedding. The production of it was crazy.
Yeah, it was really well done. And I feel like it sets a tone for future. Yeah, I mean, especially with Disney on the heels of it next year, I feel as if that we have a through line, no pun intended, with the storytelling, to a follow through, as it were, with Disney to see what they do based on the Bad Bunny halftime show. Which, as you know, as a fan of the world of professional wrestling, that is how I was introduced to Bad Bunny. So I also appreciate, I do think there is a hashtag everything is wrestling element to that as well, where you're just getting a fully realized world during the halftime show. I think that with an arena full of, there was a WrestleMania 10, 11 years ago, maybe, was in that stadium. So it has that similar vibe. And just to say, I posted it in a Discord we may talk about momentarily, but there is a wrestling match that Bad Bunny was in 3 years ago that took place in Puerto Rico. It is, at 40 years a wrestling fan, one of my favorite things all time in wrestling. Bad Bunny's entrance into an arena in Puerto Rico is an awesome spectacle just on its own without the match.
Yeah.
It is an amazing thing.
Interesting. I do feel like I'm seeing more Bad Bunny content now, and things that I have met, appearances on SNL or on
Mhm.
Colbert or whatever, and more is popping up. So, learning more and seeing more. So maybe that'll pop up on my algorithm as well.
There is two things that have happened this year in 2026. We're 40 days into the new year, and we have shook the foundation of our fan base to the core. The first thing that happened in January was that we had to pivot away from the proposed, not solidified, proposed January 2027 meetup. Our last one was in November of 25. We already are looking ahead to probably a Run Disney meetup. It's not going to work out for several years on that weekend for a
Mhm.
variety of reasons. So we had to put the old kibosh on that right away
Mhm.
with no new proposed dates in sight.
Mhm. Yet,
So
yet,
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 ellipses yet,
yet.
and so that has caused some panic in
Mhm.
our world-renowned, world-famous $1 Discord, that is one channel Discord that
Mhm.
is associated with paying guests at dillosdizresort.com.
Yeah.
And then over the weekend, prior to Super Bowl Sunday, Jen, in the month of February, shook the foundation of the fan base to the
Yeah.
core again.
Yeah. I think it was maybe Thursday night, maybe appropriately theme park Thursday night. I
Hmm.
don't know. And it was probably after watching The Traders. And I know some in our Discord watch The Traders and their side texts and whatever. But I sometimes we've joked about other channels here and there, and then we go, we can't do that. We can't change anything about that. But then I had put in the Discord, in bizarro Dillo's Discord land, I would have channels for these things, and I put
Hmm.
a list. To which a discussion started of oh, we could do this, we could do that. And then I was like, well, I wonder if we could do a Dillo's Pop server
Hmm.
and then create channels there.
Hmm.
And then on Saturday, and then I think you texted me on Friday, and we were
Hmm.
like, "Should we do this?" And then on Saturday, it's like, "All right, I'm gonna figure this out." Now, I put a GIF in our one channel Discord after it was done of anxiety and Inside Out 2 holding the laptop, and that's what I felt like creating a new Discord server with channels. Am I doing this right?
Right.
Because so background on this new Dillo's Pop server.
Hmm.
It is technically open to anyone. Anyone that wants to join can join us over there. You find the link on dillosdizresort.com, which can invite you in for free. You can have free discussions about what you're watching now or just general pop news here and there or whatever, maybe some announcements we're making. But then we decided to kind of lock some channels for the paying guests of dillosdizresort.com. And so right now, those would be like the Olympics and Super Bowl, but also shrinking,
Hmm.
traders.
The
I think
Oscars.
the Oscars. I'm probably going to add a Broadway channel. I'm
Hmm.
probably going to add a baseball channel since we're
Hmm.
about to get into the season. So some different opportunities there for more discussions because there are so many times and our guests have pointed it out in the one channel before I wish we had different channels to just discuss different things that are popping up on Disney Plus or whatever it is. So this way we just have a place to do that over at Dillo's Pop. But at the regular Dillo's Discord, one
Hmm.
channel, renowned thing. That will remain the same. We will not be adding channels over there. That is everyone's safe place who doesn't like change, maybe, and you could just stay there and it's okay.
Yeah, we talked last week a lot about Dinosaur and Dino Land
Mhm.
and whether or not it was change for the sake of change, even though it's something that we're not emotionally invested in. There is a discussion to be had there about whether all of that was change for the sake of change when maybe they could have added Encanto and Indiana Jones somewhere else in that land, in the land,
The land, honey.
and mostly in the parking lot because there's so much space.
Mhm.
It's so big, that parking lot. But sometimes you have to park over in Blizzard Beach and get a shuttle over. It's not that big.
Who's doing
Uh,
that?
so
Is that
no,
happening? Are people doing
that's happened. I've seen that before. I don't know what the circumstances were for that, but I have seen that before. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm out.
Maybe in
For
the
that
early
reason, I'm out.
days of Pandora, maybe, yeah. How
Interesting.
great is that? How great is that quote on from Shark Tank, though? Yeah, I catch a lot of Shark Tank uh, reruns. I feel like
Yeah,
because I'm plugged in.
yeah,
That and for those reasons, I'm
I'm
out. It's
out.
such a great,
So good. Yeah.
such a good exit line in general in life.
Yeah, yeah.
So to that, the change for the sake of change. Yeah, now we have kind of uh, we've done a little shake up here in the first 2 months. What will March bring? March Madness? What,
I mean,
Dillos Madness? I
maybe.
mean, maybe. We'll see where all of that goes. March is on the horizon already because we're nearly halfway through the month of February.
Already going 10 times faster than January did.
It's like February over. So that's to say, here we are on Theme Park Thursday with what is likely to be the final edition of Jen's Trip Report. There'll be portions of Jen's Trip that will be discussed and then incorporated into maybe a larger conversation about the state of Walt Disney World lounges.
Mhm.
You visited two lounges
I did.
while you were on your January Walt Disney World trip.
Mhm.
Please divulge the two at this time. I think you have already, but in
Yeah.
previous episodes.
Yeah. Also, I think it has to be the last part because I'm starting to forget things, and I'm like, "What am I talking about? What did I want to say about
Mhm, mhm.
this?" So I went to the Beak and Barrel for
Nice.
what is now my second time since we all went there on the meetup in November, and I also got into Trader Sam's as a family. So 2 lounges, 1 trip in my short 2.5 days I was there.
Nice. I mean, and I think when we were talking about the Beacon Barrel, well, when we did the 24 days of Dillo's Disney reviews in
Mhm.
December, and we did our Beacon Barrel review, and we did our GO82 review, this kind of came up um, where Beacon Barrel was currently as a new lounge,
Mhm.
and kind of in perspective of where Trader Sam's is kind of, I feel like the barometer
Mhm.
of lounges, in our opinion, of here's where you gotta try to match. You try
Yeah.
to the experience has got to try to be something like uh, Trader Sam's, no matter however that may be. It doesn't mean
Mhm.
like doesn't mean that we need volcanoes in every lounge,
Right.
but that experience of going into Trader Sam's is such that I feel like all subsequent lounges need to have those kind of vibes in
Yeah.
some way.
Mhm. Yeah.
So Trader Sam's as a family versus
Mhm.
Trader Sam's hanging out with 21 and over. What's that like?
Um, it was I think a few things played into the fact that it was pretty fun because the timing of day, because we had our own table, because of these things, there was more of a comfort and the kids were happy to kind of be inside. I will say on our first pass by as the door was opening, because me and the kids were walking to Wailulu, and Mr. Snidillo went in to put our names on the list. And as the door opened, 9-year-old B was like, "Why does it smell like that in there?" I was like, It smells like a bar." So it's all the alcohol. She's like, "Ugh, that's what alcohol smells like." Well, I'm like, it's probably better once you're in there, but that was like a big whiff that we got as the door open. Um, but yeah, I think for those reasons, it's not a crowded place, and if you're not sharing a table, it's very comfortable. So that experience was nice. They thought it was really cool. We kind of explained that there would be these different things going on based on drinks, so they really liked when those things were happening. Whether there were volcanoes on the screen or the water guns coming around from the waiters, or there was someone at the bar on their phone. Don't do that. Don't do that at Trader Sam's, because then a foghorn came out on a big speaker going, "Hey, this guy's on his phone. This must be a really important phone call." And then, hitting the alarm button over and over and just constantly being, to which 9-year-old B was like, "Well, that's not nice. Why can't he be on his phone? Why are they so loud next to him?" I'm like, "Because he doesn't need to be on his phone in here. He just needs to be in this experience. People wait a really long time to get in here."
Yes.
So, but yeah, super fun overall. And we did see another kid come in while we were there, so that was also nice to see that it wasn't too weird. That I think of some of my points that I do want to discuss. I think one of them would be being in these lounges as a family that are open to families because they're not 21 and over. I mean, Trader Sam's is after a certain time, so that's fine. But places like Oga's, places like Beacon Barrel, places like Trader Sam's, where you can go as a family. I feel, and I felt this, I think, the first time we did an Oga's kind of end of day, where
Yeah.
I was like, "It'll be great if we could do the walkout." And then I'm like, I don't think anyone in here wants to share a table with kids. They just don't. And I kind of feel that overall in the lounges. I think as soon as you're at a table with kids, I guess unless you're really a kids person, you don't want to be drinking a bunch of drinks in
Right.
front of kids, and you feel like probably you can't maybe be as loud or be yourself or whatever it is because there are kids present at the table. And so it's like, first of all, sitting with other people, especially when you're an introvert, is very uncomfortable anyway. But when you add that mix to it, where like, I'm aware that you guys are like, we just got seated with a bunch of kids. Maybe you're not thinking it. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. And maybe we can hear from some non-kid folks of how they feel if they are seated, because this has happened at Oga's, this happened at Beacon Barrel, and I feel like this pressure of, all right, let's just do the thing and like kind of get out, because
Yeah.
people can kind of sit back and enjoy it. But also, these places are open for families. And then I start to think for like Beacon Barrel, which has a lot of space, or maybe, and probably, I love when I get a booth at Oga's, but with the kids, I kind of prefer standing because then I'm not sharing space with anyone, and it's a little bit better that way. But
Sorry. I'm sorry.
excuse me, hi, I'm sorry, hi. But like Beacon Barrel and all these other places, do you kind of seat families in similar areas and then people without kids in certain areas, so that the mixing of tables is a little bit, but maybe you don't do that, because how are you going to really keep up with that with
More
turnover? That's
judges.
like crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know.
No, I think that's a slippery. I can't even say slippery. It's so slippery. A slippery slope there, because that was the thought that started running through my head as you're explaining this, and I was like, no, I don't think you can
Yeah.
do that. I think people would be offended in many ways.
Right. Yeah. Because
So
I know if I walk into like an ale house, sometimes I'm like, oh, we're sitting in the family section. They're keeping all the kids in one area tonight. Like, when that's happening. And for the turnover, when these places are 45 minutes in and out, they gotta just seat people. They're not worrying about
right.
who it is or what your situation is. And there's some discrimination there. So I get that. And
Yeah, I think that's a tough one, especially something the size of Grog Grotto. I can't say anything. Grog Grotto. That, and I also want to clarify of why is the Grog. Oh my God, I can't say it twice. The Grog. Why am I calling that? Just call it Trader Sam's.
yeah, just say that.
Is it a lounge? Is it more of a bar? It's a tiki bar.
Right.
Is it at what class? For me, I'm saying I'm going to call a lot of things lounges
Yeah.
based on their seating, and
Mhm.
especially Beacon Barrel to me. Like if I have to, or Oga's, if I have to get into a booth and scooch, I'm in a lounge.
Yeah. Yep.
Like that's an immediate thing. I think maybe we talk about baseline in a little bit and whether or not
Mhm.
that's a lounge. I think
Mhm.
that's also an in between. Is it
Mhm.
really? Is it not?
Yeah.
Um, is something like Jack Lindsay's a restaurant? I don't know, but for
Yeah.
me, uh, and especially going to Disneyland last year
Mhm.
with Trader Sam's there that had more open space, more seating,
Yeah.
outdoor, indoor, um, and felt a little more open,
Mhm.
so I therefore felt more comfortable
Mhm.
with the then, well, she had turned 9, so she was,
Yeah.
the only 9-year-old at that
Yeah.
point, um, her being in there during that because it felt more of that vibe, and maybe it was earlier in the day, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think with, the Polynesian resort version of Trader Sam's Grotto, that, um, there is definitely, that kind of self-judgment that goes on.
Yeah. I will say I think Baseline has beer garden vibes. That's always what's in my head with
Mhm.
Baseline, and
Yeah.
also the fact that, like, you don't have to share a table with people. You probably can, and if there were no seating, I'm sure plenty of people go, "Hey, can we take these seats?" Cool, but there's not the you're forced to sit with people, and so,
Yeah, and maybe we could try to take this out into, the interwebs or
Mhm.
into our one channel, $1 world-renowned Discord,
Right.
and determine how do folks see a bar versus a lounge versus and how it pertains to these establishments in Disney. But to me, yeah, sure, it's a tiki bar, but it's a lounge. Just the
Yeah.
seating alone is if it was a bar, it would just be a bar and it would be high tops. And that would, but you have that seating and the booths that go on there. That's a lounge to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, so that's something, but, the kids themselves had a great time, so that was good and fun. Um, I do think another, like, beef, I would say. I'll
Hmm.
I'll go with all my beefs first and then, whatever, but another beef, I think, and I kind of picked up on this a bit when we were at Beacon Barrel in November because we had a few members of our party that could not drink alcohol,
Hmm.
and or GO82 or Trader Sam's. I feel like in 2026, one, if you're going to have lounges open to families and kids,
Hmm.
there needs to be more opportunities and options for non-alcoholic beverages, including and also including in that group are people who don't want to drink,
Hmm.
who cannot drink, who are
Hmm.
whatever the reasoning is, there should be more options. And I feel like there's two options everywhere. And it's like, why are people limited to these things in a fun place? Now, I'm not
Hmm.
100% sure. Could you order a Coke at some of these places? Will they get you a Coke? I don't know. But
Right.
like, it's not on the menu like that because it's a fun menu and it's a fun place and it's all themed.
Hmm.
But why are those options not available? I will say Trader Sam's, they have the Skipper Sipper, which is tropical juices, organic agave nectar. I'm not even going to try to say that one. Mint and fresh lime juice topped with soda water. And then the Schweitzer Falls, which is tropical juices, Gorilla Grog topped with Sprite. So, like, all right, so you got some fruit juice and some soda. Great. That's like a little mocktail.
Hmm.
Cool. And that goes with that. But at the Beacon Barrel, your options are Cursed Treasure, which is an indulgent blend of coconut milk and cookie crumbs topped with a vanilla foam and pirate's gold. And then you have Treasure Trove, which is a mysterious ube, I don't know, lemon and coconut concoction served with a vanilla cake plank, chocolate cannonball, and golden caramel popcorn. I don't know. Can
And they're
you?
both coconut based, right?
Right.
So that's if you don't like coconut, you're out of luck.
Correct. Now, where I appreciate something like that is if you're going to have like a creamy thing and it's not dairy, cool, because then like the 11-year-old is in. I will say I do believe both of them got the cursed treasure and both of them did not like it. So, again, put some silly little things on the menu or some mocktails with some fruit juice and some soda. Call it a walking the plank and end it. Like, why are there...
Yeah.
And even at Geo 82, I think there's a walk through the garden and then Manhattan in the morning, which are also like there's non-alcoholic spirits kind of in those and bitters and but like again, some people just kind of want a generic mocktail to sit there where they're up the price at Geo 82. You know you're going to anyway, but they're sitting there for the views. They're sitting there for the experience. They're sitting there for the community of it all. I just think there needs to be more non-alcoholic options in the lounges where kids are present and for them, but equally for the adults in the either 21 and over spaces or in the lounges for them to enjoy the experience as well. I don't know.
It's a conundrum, I think, because of the slippery slope and the line between we're trying to cater to the Disney adults that we know exist, who are looking for a certain experience at a certain price level, and that experience at that level usually means no kids. And I think, we equate it sometimes. Here we were just talking about how Lion King and Aladdin are still the only really kid shows for Broadway,
Yeah.
And I think, at least once upon a time, especially maybe me growing up, I think Broadway goers don't see that as a place kids should be. So sometimes they justify, well, I'm paying this ticket price because I want this level of experience that there's no, I'm not bringing in, and I'm saying this as a parent,
Right.
potential distractions.
Right.
And that is, so there, it's tricky. It's so tricky to me. And so, so Trader Sam's is definitely, and I think it speaks to what should the size of Trader Sam's at the Polynesian be that size, or should it be bigger at this point?
Yeah.
And I think I love the patio behind it, and I'm like, or could you just expand it out there and incorporate it more than it is?
Right.
So that's where I sit with that sometimes. And, I would think for the past 10 minutes or so, people have been really angry that I said that Trader Sam's is kind of the barometer of lounges where Animal Kingdom lovers are just like, the Nomad Lounge is the barometer of lounges. So I will say, love Nomad. Gets me to go to the Animal Kingdom more.
100%. That's how I want to end my Animal Kingdom day at noon.
Correct. But I will say that I wish it had a little more of the experiential part of it. Now, I'm not saying it has to go with the tricks that Trader Sam's has, but I do feel like I could feel a little more. Love the drinks, love the food, love the views if you're outdoors. I feel like it's just not. It does. I don't have enough of the vibe, I guess.
I feel like Nomad Lounge, which I too love, and I will go every time I'm in Animal Kingdom, unless it's getting too late. But I think the issue there is that pretty much has a full menu, so it feels a little bit more restaurant-y while being called a lounge. The fact that I can go in there and have lunch, I can't do that at Beacon Barrel. I can't do that at some other. So, that starts to play into it too. How much food are we having in these places, and what constitutes that? I do think for a lounge, definitely have some food, but then do you stick to more apps and little, tapas and little plates and little snacks and things like that? Or can I do a full menu? And also in Nomad, I didn't even know the area really existed that we were in. Was that 2 meetups ago?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it was 2 meetups
Yeah.
ago. Where, like, we were kind of in this other
Backward.
area of it, which definitely felt like a restaurant over there. That had no lounge vibes to it whatsoever.
Mhm.
So it's all like, it's the you you start incorporating more lounges into Disney. Cool, but then where are those lines of what's considered what and what's
Yeah.
21 and over and what's family based and what has food and how much food, and there's so much involved in it.
Yeah. So the theme is slippery slope for sure. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about get the nomad talk out of the way. But,
Yeah.
and I agree. I do think because the food is so good,
Mhm.
and because you want to order the
Yeah.
food,
Mhm.
it's not like where Trader Sam's. Sure, there's options, but you're going for the drinks.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
going for the mugs. You're
Mhm.
going for whatever, and that is your foundation. Where nomad, you're not really you want both.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I don't know if it had more of those kind of Trader Sam's options,
Mhm.
would I feel differently about it? Beacon Barrel, you talked about the coconut drinks, right? Those are the coconut drinks are
Yeah.
Beacon Barrel, not
Mhm.
right? So, but what did again, and another Pandora's box, I'll move
Mhm.
away from slippery slope and now talk about Pandora's box,
Mhm.
is introducing alcohol into Magic Kingdom, and it's here. It's been happening. Now it's taken another step,
Mhm.
where you gotta consume alcoholic beverages in 45 minutes. I
Mhm.
know that we had a Kona lunch. We
Mhm.
went right over to Magic Kingdom. I had my two drinks, and one of them was a beer. And in 45 minutes, and I was like, "Whew, I am relaxed now at the very Merry Christmas party." Um,
Everything's great. We don't even need that second reservation later. I'm good.
I'm good. I can't drink anymore. And Jefferson's shaking his fist at me right now. Let's just go on the people mover and take in the holiday vibes. Uh, right. And which is also like, I'm in the Magic Kingdom and I feel like this. It's weird.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so what your second time in now with the family angle, do you feel like there's still more growth to be had?
Yes. And I will say I was one booth away from where we all were in November. So I was
Hmm.
one booth closer to the main area, so I saw a little bit more than I was
Hmm.
able to see last time. I appreciate everything they do, but I think there is still more that can be done. I think the 45 minutes makes it tricky. I also I don't know, maybe I shouldn't expect more. Maybe this is the experience, and that's fine for 45 minutes. You sing some songs, you see some things, and you go. And I mean, it doesn't have to be you're not at a dinner and a show. It's not
Right.
hoop-de-doo for goodness sakes. So, like, what am I actually expecting? Um, uh, I do still feel like I wonder how it feels in that main area. I'm still on that a little bit of like, would I have different vibes in that area? With the family, I think this whole, like, drink thing plays into it. Are me and Mr. Snidillo gonna really need a drink that no judgment to anyone who, does just wanna go and have a drink, that no for me and him, being in the Magic Kingdom where you could never get a drink before anyway, so we don't care in the like,
Right.
when we're in
Right.
Epcot, we kinda go, "Ooh, we want a Grand Marnier slushie. Ooh, we want these things. I want a Rosa Regale." But
Yeah.
in the Magic Kingdom, where I haven't had these options before, am I gonna go, "Well, let's go to Beacon Barrel and sit there while we have a drink and the kids will probably have water in a cool cup?" Because, I don't know. So
Yeah.
I don't know how often I'm going back, maybe once in a while, but not every trip probably. So a lot of things are at play with it. I do think it's a fun place. I do think the table sharing can be awkward. Everyone at our table seemed very nice, but,
Mhm.
it can be awkward, especially when you're all like, "Yo ho, yo." I don't know. So unless you're like all in it and a super party bunch, I don't know how that feels for
Mhm.
everybody.
Yeah.
So a lot of things at play, I guess there. Also, just to say what drinks we had,
Mhm.
Mr. Snidillo had barrels ablaze.
Mhm.
I, of course, was not going to change my order. What? I've had a drink here. I know what to get. That's all. So I had the Siren's Whisper. Now, I will say, when I ordered the Siren's Whisper, which is a really pretty blue drink, um, the waitress was like, "Okay, that's gonna be the strongest drink we have." And in my head, I was like, That wasn't that strong. What are you talking about? I just had that in November. It was not that strong, and that's why I'm ordering it again, because if it had been, I probably wouldn't have drank it. So then she brought it over, and then she put in some secret elixir. I don't know what it was supposed to be, but she put some drops and stuff. So it was more of an experience this time than I had in November.
Gotcha.
It was definitely stronger than it was in November. I mean, not by but when I just like that first sip, I was like, oh, okay, nope, tasting the burning going down. And I don't recall that in November.
Right.
Now, I drank the drink and it was fine. And I wasn't like, man, I don't need a second reservation at Beacon Barrel after that. I wasn't to that level. But, I was still, it was just funny when she said that. And I was like, what are you talking about? That drink doesn't taste like anything. So yeah, so that's what we ordered. Someone at our table did order the margarita. So that was always fun. And yeah, so all that to say, probably more needs to happen there, maybe, or they just have to figure out their footing, and they have to figure out the audience, and maybe a few rounds of as it's getting its feet wet. Then you start weeding out the people who are trying it for the first time, and then the people who are coming back going, yeah, I really need to go, or nah, I'm good. I don't know.
Well, and we have had this conversation a little bit about Ogas in the 45 minutes, and here we are 7 years later, still talking about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is they don't want you sitting in the bar all day drinking and just coming out of there hammered.
Yeah.
And I think now that you said the margarita, I was like, oh, that's what I had besides the beer. It was the margarita, which was very good. I was on a margarita kick that whole week.
Yeah.
And but I think that might stay because of that. So in both cases, in both the Oga's case and a Beacon Barrel case, you gotta find a structure that fits the 45 minutes. And I think that is missing and can make things a little more experiential, because I don't think I need to be in Oga's more than 45 minutes when I paid $200 to get into the park. I don't.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
But I do think I want more than I was getting 7 years ago. And stormtroopers walk by in Oga's now, and you get to sing A Pirate's Life for me in Beacon Barrel. But I do think there needs to be what happens in the 45 minutes. And I take that all the way back to the character dining stuff. Like, I don't know. Before I was working at a soundstage restaurant in the animation courtyard with the genie, doing a genie dance every 30 minutes. I don't know if any other character dining experience was doing that at that point, but it provides a structure and is almost something that it goes to the guest going, I've been here a long time. I've seen this dance 3 times already, and then it's like, oh, let's get out of here. So those things I think are good for turnover and the guest experience and things like that. So I think in both those cases, Beacon Barrel and Oga's, they both need more of that.
Yeah, and I agree that they're doing it for a reason, and they don't want things at Magic Kingdom and studios that have happened at Epcot and continue to happen. And so I totally understand that part, and I don't necessarily feel like I've ever felt rushed at these places, but I think at times like Oga's, especially 7 years in, which is crazy that 7 years in, I think there are times when, during a meetup at the end of the day, if it's all of us and and Oga's is pretty empty, there's almost this feeling of like, can't we just hang out? Can't we just stay in this booth and hang out a little bit and like not have to be just for that aspect? But obviously that's a different way of thinking than other people who are like, cool, I can get another drink. Cool, I can get another drink. And then you have that, of course. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, and it's the communication of that. And what is the communication on the company side with that, with that end of the day of, okay, well, sometimes you get, like we were at the Abracadabra, which I would also call a lounge.
That has loungy vibes.
On Disney's Boardwalk, where they were like, hey, the Skyliner is only running for another 20 minutes, right? So make your choice. Like, I feel like you could get some of that at Oga's at the end of the day, especially if you're not waiting on any more tables. It could be, hey, just a heads up.
Yeah.
This is your timeline, because and then that'll make you stop drinking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. If you can't get back to your resort, you're going to have to call a minivan.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't want to do that. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, to that we're covering other areas here. I think about with the resorts, and what cracked me up about that is it called the Perch in Grand Flow,
Oh, uh-huh. The
in the
Niggle.
middle of the Grand Flow lobby,
Mhm.
which was opened in November, and I'm like, well, you have the Enchanted Rose Lounge. What do you need this bar in the middle of the lobby for?
Mhm.
I don't quite understand that. And then I'm like, is the lounge not providing enough lounge experience? That people are like, we're
Right.
not sitting here all day. I mean, the truffle fries are very good, and I haven't had them in 6 years, but I'm
Yeah.
sure they're still good if they're serving them.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and I think about that. I think I probably thought about, oh, should we go pop into the Grand Floridian and see what the lobby looks like? And in that thought, started thinking, what hotels have like bars or areas
Uh-huh,
in the lobby and which don't? And you think of like the Beach Club,
uh-huh.
which doesn't. Unless you go down and around the corner and maybe over
Yeah.
by Ariel's, and kind of the same with Boardwalk, because if you
Which
think
we didn't name last time.
correct.
Dr. J, Pixie Dust
Yes,
PhD, told us the name of it.
yes.
I'm going to remember it now because it just popped in my head, but I was like, oh, and I just forgot the name of it again. But no, it's Martha's Vineyard. It's connected to, it's a Martha's
You can't
Vineyard.
say that with your accents? What are you
No
doing?
more, no more AM recordings for a while. M- At Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's
Uh,
Vineyard. Mothers? It's Mothers.
Yeah, and we were at the Crew Cup Lounge over right. That's the Crew Cup over by Ale and Compass.
What is that what that's
Is it?
called? I don't
I
know what
think
that's
I
called.
think that's the name of it. Which
Mhm.
both have but that's not the experience I need in I like both. Oh, I haven't been to Martha's Vineyard because it's always like, "What's over here?"
Yeah.
But that's definitely not an experience I need at the beach club. Like, I don't need the lounge experience. Too
Yeah.
much good at the beach club for me to need, a wow, it's a rough recording for me today. For me to need a lounge experience.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I don't think I've ever been I don't think I've ever even, like, sat over there. Like, I don't maybe we
no,
did? I don't know.
it's too weird.
It's weird. But if you think of Grand Floridian, if you think of the yacht club, if you think of the boardwalk, boardwalk has a lot going on the boardwalk itself, and then there's that little area off to the side of the lobby that but
Uh-huh,
to me, these places are also places connected to convention centers. And
uh-huh,
that's why
uh-huh.
also even then Contemporary had the Wave Bar for a while. And
Yep.
so it's like, are you more focused on the resorts with convention centers to put bars and lounges in those spaces because that's where people want to go after their meetings? Or is this just something you're going to slowly incorporate into other resorts if there's room and space?
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the wave because that was definitely right. We did a monorail crawl back
Hmm.
in 2020,
When it's time.
before it was time, but before the times.
Hmm.
And that was January 2020 that we did that. And the wave at that time was definitely like what you would hit in
Yeah.
that situation. I think it's funny because of the conventions that you don't hear that there's the same kind of party scene at
Hmm.
Steakhouse 71. Like, I mean, there's still all that space. There's all
Yeah.
that seating.
Hmm.
What are people doing at the bar? Like, are they going to the bar at Steakhouse 71? Are they partaking
Right.
and taking their drinks to those kind of seats? Like, you
Mhm,
don't hear stuff the same way you heard about it with the Wave. I heard about the food at the Wave, and I heard the food was
mhm,
good,
mhm.
but I heard about it more as a
Yeah,
place to get a drink.
yeah, it's all very interesting. Are they try and you start to wonder if they're trying to push people to different spots in different areas and what their thinking is with it all. And also while keeping in mind that there's plenty of kids at Disney and plenty of families and plenty of people that they don't want the bad press of people falling out of bars and lounges every which way in all the parks and resorts. So there's like that fine line of how you're navigating that. I agree with, Grand Floridian. I'm sure it'll look fine when we're in there. Was that change for the sake of change? It sure was. That was
It
change for
sure
the sake
was.
of change. That was why do you need this?
And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's because the story got out about the gingerbread house,
Yeah, true.
and a family member of ours, but we're not going to talk about that
No,
here.
not right now. No.
And then I guess we mentioned Baseline, we mentioned
Mhm.
Jock Lindsay's. In we talk about Abracadabra,
Mhm.
where do those kind of places fall in? How do you like Jock Lindsay's,
Mhm.
which I've gone and just enjoyed drinks there. And we
Mhm.
went there with Junk Stormtrooper and had both apps and drinks.
Yeah.
They kind of have the cool booths there.
Mhm.
Is that a lounge? Is that a
Yeah. And Jock Lindsay's, all of this is based on absolutely nothing. So those of you listening that are going to go, what are you talking about? I don't know. I'm just saying the first thing that comes to mind. So, Jock Lindsay's almost to me feels a little more bar and grill like.
Mhm.
I don't know. And Baseline to me feels more beer garden like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Baseline, where you can get a pretzel, you can get the charcuterie. Can you get some brat at Baseline? I don't know.
I think
But
we could once upon a time, I think. Yeah.
that might be the only thing missing if you can. So, like, to
Yeah.
me, that feels beer garden-esque.
Yeah.
Jock Lindsay's, though, it's also a place I'm not immediately thinking about all the time unless I'm meeting for a drink or you want to meet up somewhere or whatever.
Mhm.
So I don't know. What do you consider those two?
I mean, Jock Lindsay's, it was funny because the first time I went was with our friend Ali Flores, another friend of
Mhm.
mine from college. We were out like on the outdoors, just kind of
Mhm.
hanging out, look over the water.
Yeah.
It felt very loungy.
Yeah.
So then we went with Drunk Stormtrooper, and I was like, oh, I like the food. So I was like, oh yeah, it's a little more bar. I will agree with you that Baseline is probably a beer garden, but I
Mhm.
don't know if I would have said that. Because you're comparing to Oga's, and then
Mhm.
you're comparing also to how people feel about the Brown Derby Lounge,
Mm,
which is called a lounge.
right.
So I feel like for with those two, then yeah, Baseline is its own thing.
Mhm.
But I think then you get into something like La Hava in Mexico, which in
Oh,
our 2024 trip, a bunch went over there.
Mhm.
And like that feels more bar to me
Yeah.
and not lounge. So,
Right.
which is fascinating because I was like, let me look up what is the name of that place.
La Cava? Is that what you mean?
Oh, what did I say? La Hava?
Lava.
I'm having
I was like,
a
it's
very
like
rough
you're
recording.
just combining. It's fine. It's a malaprop because you just combined La Cava to lava. I lava
I
you.
meant to say La Hava. I meant to. I didn't even use it as.
You weren't even doing that. You just combine it. It's a malaprop now. Lava. You gonna go to lava? Get some tequila?
You want to go to lava? Well, and I was going to say earlier whether because you said drank the drink. You said drank the drank.
I
And
just
I was
say
like,
yeah.
is that a
Yeah.
T-shirt that we get
Yeah.
like
In
skull
my
and crossbones and it says drank the drank? I drank the drank.
In my head, I went, "That's not what it is. I'm gonna keep going. Just gonna keep going."
So this is why we've been recording more at night lately, where we after 10 o'clock we can't record.
Right. So we
Apparently
have a very
before.
small window in
Right,
in
and
any
it's called
day.
8:30 to 9:30 in the evening.
That's it. I can't.
So La Cava.
La Cava.
I saw you searching. I was like, what did I say wrong?
I was
I
like,
see you doing a search. Like, what did he just
do I
reference?
have that wrong? Hold on.
So yeah, and then you go around to all the
Mhm.
World Showcase stuff, and you got
Yeah.
the outdoor booth. Like that's not like, but there are places within all these restaurants that have little,
Mhm.
bars and seating areas that you start to question. That's why I started with the state of the lounges
Mhm.
because I think there are some that are called lounge. There are some that are not called lounge but feel like lounges.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then there's the state of these other ones where,
Yeah.
Oga's, sure, it's a cantina. It's a lounge. You got all those booths. Come
Yeah.
on.
It's funny though, like as we're talking about the indoor and the outdoor, immediately in my head, I'm like, if it's outdoor, it's not a lounge.
Mm.
Like that's in my head. I don't feel lounge vibes if I'm outside. And maybe that's why Baseline feels more like a beer garden to me
Yeah.
than a lounge. I don't know. I feel lounge has like vibes to it, and that's
Uh-huh.
even like Beacon Barrel. I guess it's a lounge to me. It's like I don't know what it is. It's a big. It's too big to be a lounge.
Right. And it goes back to my earlier point. Like if I'm crunching into a booth like that,
Yeah.
and again, it's what everyone's individual experiences have been. I
Yeah.
think about how many, because Orlando in the 90s
Mhm.
was huge with the big band
Mhm.
scene. I went to so many, I thought we were in Swingers every
Yeah.
3 times a week with the places we went to.
Yep.
And for those of you who don't know, Swingers was a movie with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn from 1996, and it's not associated with any kind of current day culture. So, and if you haven't watched that movie, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But you go and you watch a big band play, and you have a couple of cocktails,
Mhm.
and it was a lounge.
Yeah.
I did that all the time. So that's how I feel when I'm crunching into all of these places.
Mhm.
Jelly Rolls, not a lounge.
Not a lounge. No.
No,
Piano
that was a
bar.
piano bar.
Yes.
Correct.
100%.
100%. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Um, so and I want to touch on, perhaps you referenced it here, but there's two, I think, since we were in Epcot a little bit there, where we just got off on the like of a tangent.
Mhm.
I was trying to stay in Epcot for a little bit. I do want to talk a little more about GO82 and Space 220, because that
Mhm.
was part of the origins of this podcast
Yep.
episode. Also, is what is the state of what you call the Space 220 lounge,
Mhm.
and is that a lounge?
It's not a lounge. I'm not
Yeah.
calling it a lounge. Space 220, I'm not.
Uh,
It's an extension of the restaurant. That is not a lounge. I'm passing by it to get to my seat. That's not, I can see the entire, it's not a lounge to me. That's just an
Yeah,
extension. You can go and hang out. I don't know what to call it.
yeah. But you call GO82 a lounge.
That's a lounge.
Okay, so then tying it back to our original conversation about Trader Sam's,
Mm-hmm.
Space 220
Mm-hmm.
needs to be more family geared. Like, that was something we've been touching on recently.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't have like, I get Be Our Guest has the fancy pricing,
Yeah.
even though it is so kid themed.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
has these prices that make us go, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to eat there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where Space 220, I feel like the menu is a little off-putting
Yeah.
for a family.
Yeah. I it's so hard. I feel like there needs to be better PR around Space 220. I don't know. Again,
Mhm.
for me and my experience, my kids loved it. They liked the food, they liked the experience, they liked looking out into space. They enjoyed it. They liked going up to space, and they enjoyed the whole experience of it. And I'm not trying to say like, "Oh, well, then this is only for families and not for anybody else." No, of course, but I think the idea of Space 220, I don't know if it scares some people off, or if you see the Space 220 lounge, do you go, it's a bar. I'm not gonna bring my family
Right.
there then, or vice versa. Maybe you think, oh, what are you looking out into space? Is this like a kid thing? Maybe it's one or the other. I don't know, but overall, the fact that I can think that all of those are possibilities, it needs better PR.
And I think
As a BFA, as my BFA in public relations, I can say that.
I think it's you also need to uh I think the attraction scares people off.
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
think that's also
Hmm.
part of it.
Yeah.
Like, I think part of the appeal of Beacon Barrel is that it's a beloved attraction for the whole
Sure.
family.
Yep.
And I think you do not have a similar thing
Hmm.
with Mission Space. I wouldn't call that a beloved attraction for the whole
No,
family. Maybe for some
absolutely not.
families, you love what you love, and
Sure.
go on, go on. Uh,
Whatever
but
brings you joy.
whatever brings you joy.
Hmm.
But I do think it does not have that same weight
Hmm.
that going. I think you're going to see a similar thing come up with what they do with Villains Land and
Hmm.
Haunted Mansion. You got the lounge on a cruise ship now that's themed like that. You know what the property line of Villains Land is scheduled to be. I think that's going to be a connector. I
Hmm.
think Haunted Mansion is going to be your gateway
Right.
into Villains Land
Yeah.
on that
Hmm.
side of the park. So to that, I feel like you probably need to expand that brand.
Hmm.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
so that'll be interesting.
I do think the name of this episode will be the slippery slope into Disney lounges, bars, and more. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I mean, we might have to redo the bumper at the beginning of this episode, just for those purposes
Yeah.
alone. Listen, part of this podcast that we have done for
Mhm.
8 years,
Mhm.
I think while we enjoyed food and wine and
Mhm.
things like that, it's not like we were going to the parks for the beverages
Right.
all the time. I think one of the discoveries
Mhm.
by doing this podcast are getting to try out all these new places and
Yeah.
and the drinks involved with them. And every time a new one opens, it is exciting to kind of check it out and see
Mhm.
what it has right now. What are your 3 top places to get a drink in the parks and the resorts?
Oh,
If you had to
man.
pick 3, putting you on the spot here at the end to wrap things up.
Ugh, God. I'll say the first 3 that came to mind, so I don't even try to fight it, but in no particular order, so you're not getting
Mhm.
that out of me. So the first 3 that came to mind were wait, what was the third one? Wait, hold on. What was the third one? I feel like the third one was the first one, and now oh, Nomad, Trader
Mm.
Sam's. Why do I keep forgetting one? They keep bouncing back and forth. Nomad, Trader Sam's, and Ogus. Those were the first
Yeah.
3 that came to mind. Now, while I was just trying to rethink of those 3, more like, what about the no, get out of my head. These were not the first. I'm going with the first 3.
Yeah, and I think people just to mention, I know we left a bunch out, so please send us an
Yes.
angry social
Yes.
media post
Yeah.
with what we forgot. But over at Wilderness Lodge at Geyser Point, we still haven't gotten over there. So
Mhm.
there's
Oh,
also
yeah.
places
Mhm.
that have been talked about for years
Yeah.
that we haven't even reached yet. And Geyser
Mhm.
Point is definitely one of them. It's on my list.
Mhm.
Jen and I were talking about Wilderness Lodge prices recently. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, Geyser Point finally.
Yeah.
So that would be on the list. I agree that Trader Sam's and Oga's are definitely an easy slam dunk first 2. And
Mhm.
and really, does that mean what's at Oga's is better than other places? No, it's just
Mhm.
the overall. It's the
Mhm.
overall the experience of walking in, the 2 drinks, especially if you're leaving at the end of the day, walking out of there at night. It's a great from beginning to end
Yeah.
for me.
Mhm.
And Trader Sam's is just fun, and the drinks and
Mhm.
the mugs, I love it all.
Yeah.
So then the third one is tough. I think Nomad, the food is so good,
Mhm.
but and I think the debate would be what do I consider Jack Lindsay's, and it really is that first experience,
Mhm.
and to your other point of is it outdoors?
Right.
The first time I hung out there, I felt like it was loungy to me, and
Yeah.
maybe I was with UCF people, and it
Mhm.
hit that nostalgia
Yeah.
there. Um, so, gosh, and that bar was pretty good too.
Yeah. Mhm.
Can I pick a third one? Can I pick a third
And when I
one?
say nomad, I am specifically talking about the main area or maybe just right outside. I don't think I've
Yeah,
actually
the patio.
really been
Yeah.
outside on the patio, like it's for the sitting and eating and drinking purposes. But that main area for me, more so than the whatever area we were in a couple of years ago.
Yeah, the first time I was at Nomad with Justin Monorail and Landon, check out Dallas Does Disney
Mhm.
every other week over there. Landon's been firing that back up, and we were on the patio, and like the little floats were coming by with the
Mhm.
characters on it because we
Yeah.
were still like in the in between times,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh. And the food was good. I like that. That would be what I would point to. I don't need to be. I would want to be on the patio
Yeah.
every time.
Mhm. Yeah.
And which is outdoors, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
So again, it's called the Nomad
Mhm.
Lounge, though. What is
Yeah.
happening? So all these things to say that we have no real answers and no real decisions to be made
Right.
here, as is typical for Theme Park Thursday
Sure.
with Dillos Diz. Next week, we're hoping we're giving people a 2-week ramp up, but the popularity of it makes me think that everyone is at this place already. But
Mhm.
we want to really deep dive on the Muppet Show relaunch
Yep.
and what that means. I'm calling it the relaunch because there's going to be more. There's got to be. And what that means for the parks.
Mhm.
Our last episode was a night before Josh Tomorrow was announced as the CEO, the
Mhm.
new CEO starting in March. So what does that mean for the Muppets in the parks? Supposedly he's an advocate for for more Muppets in the parks. So we want to deep dive on that for the next edition of Theme Park Thursday with Dillos Diz. Jen, am I missing anything at all?
I just want to say that I'm going to include links in the YouTube description and the podcast feed description where you can join us over at the Dillos Pop Discord, but also how to get into those little VIP channels and also the world-renowned one-channel Discord link as well. So
there you go. Wrapping it all back around. Until next time, she's Jen and I'm Frank. Bye-bye.
Deuces. The Dillos Diz podcast is hosted by Frank Cardillo and Jen Cardillo-Snyder. Music produced by Matt Harvey. Logos and video production courtesy of Snidillo Studios. Dillos Diz Resort is our Patreon with tiers starting as low as $1 per month. You can visit dillosdizresort.com to learn more. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, X Twitter, and Facebook at Dillos Diz. Check us out on YouTube by visiting youtube.com/DillosDiz. Don't forget to like and subscribe while you're there. We also have merch available on TeePublic and Etsy. For all this and more, visit our one-stop shop, dillosdiz.com.